Couch Hustler, deal number 4. So, 5100 Hollis Street. I think it was 5100 Hollis Street. Awesome deal. This was probably when I started getting into like the nicer homes. When I was like, whoa, okay, this is different. This isn't like these little rink-a-dink properties that are just basically people buying to be rentals in bad neighborhoods, and the rent's cheap and the properties, And I'm getting used to the sub-twos and just taking over people's mortgages. Like, just to fathom that you could just take over people's mortgages was still new to me at this time. And to be able to just take over a property like this one, 5100 Hollis, if you get a chance to look it up, check it out. Awesome house. When I got this property, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I think I'm going to live here for a while. As a matter of fact, I did. I moved into this one. I moved into this house. This deal was a funny deal. The guy was not in a bad situation. Actually, what he did is he paid off his house. He was there. He was the original owner of this house. He paid off the mortgage. He, 30-year mortgage. He ended up borrowing on the house. So he got a loan on the house for like $200,000 or so. Got that money, he refinanced, got the money, went and bought a mobile home at the beach, paid cash for it, and basically was going to retire at the beach with his, his funds that he refinanced out of the house that he lived there for 30 years. He didn't even want the house anymore here that he refinanced the house here in Bakersfield, the 5100 Hollis, that he stopped making payments because all his funds just went to the new property. So he was just going to default on this house. He literally was just going to walk away from a house and didn't want to deal with it at all. Luckily, he knew me. I played poker with him. I played a lot of poker back at this time. That's why I mentioned that a lot. But I used to wear hats and stuff and T-shirts to say, I buy houses. So he, hit me up. He asked me, hey, man, you interested in buying a house? And I was like, yeah, I'm interested in buying a house. So I ended up going to the house, checking it out. And remember, this is 30-year mortgage on this house, and he had so much stuff for 30 years that he lived in this property. They collected a lot of stuff over 30 years. I mean, this house was full with stuff. And he was behind 2 or 3 months in payments. Payment was probably about $1,600 to $1,800 a month, and it was not interest only, but it was a high interest adjustable, so that the mortgage could actually be changed. It could go up to like $2,000 or jump down depending on what the interest rate was for the year. And that kind of made me nervous. But I was like, man, it's such a nice property. I don't care. I'm going to try to buy this. So anyways, I took it over. But he had so much stuff in this house that we didn't know what to do and how long it was going to take him to get it out. So we knew a guy that was an auctioneer that did like estate sales, but they do auction estate sales. So they advertise the property and everything goes that day. So they come and people come and they do auctions on every single little item in this property. And I'm talking couches, tablespoons, whatever's in this property goes that day at the auctioneer price. Auctioneer takes like 10%. All the other remaining funds go directly to the owner. And I highly recommend don't ever have the seller there at that auction because, man, they walk around the property wanting to be able to just like keep stuff because, it means things to them when they see a lighter that might have been given to them on their 40th birthday or whatever. So it's best just not to have that seller there. Let them just not be there during that auction process. And it goes pretty quick. I swear, out of everything that was there, and I'm talking hundreds of items, maybe even 1,000 items easily, maybe 2 things stayed, and they either left them at the property or they took them in a small box, whatever it was. But anyways, I ended up making up the last 2 to 3 payments that the mortgage was behind. I made those payments, so it cost me maybe about $3,000 or $4,000 to be able to do so. And I ran that one through escrow as well, and I moved into that property. I straight up moved in, man. I moved into it. I didn't have to do much to it. It was a nice property. It did smell like cigarettes. I remember it smelling like cigarette smokes because that's what they did for 30 years. This is an older couple that lived there. They smoked in that property for 30, 40 years, and I was having a hard time getting rid of it. And it still had some of that, that popcorn flake in the ceiling. So it was kind of just getting absorbed in there. I mean, I tried everything, air fresheners in the AC units, everything. It took a minute to get rid of that. But eventually it got nice and clean and smelled a lot better after it took some time. So, I was kind of wanting to see if I could do another rent to own on this property. So I advertised it anyways. Didn't think nothing of it. Didn't think I was going to sell it right away. And then I put it even for a higher number than 10,000. This is my first one there. I was just like, I'm going to push it a little bit because I didn't really want to move out of it right away unless somebody made me move, So I rent to own advertised it, 30,000 down. It was a big jump, right? 10,000, 30,000 down. I just wanted to see if I can get it. You better believe I got it. Somebody called me off a Craigslist ad and gave me 30,000 down rent to own on that property. I couldn't believe it. 30,000. It was my first big down payment I ever got. And then I even put the monthly payment at like I think it was like 1,900 or maybe even 2,000 a month. So I was cash flowing $500 to $600 a month every month on that payment. Plus they gave me 30,000 to move. I was like, whoa, all right. So now my mind's going crazy. I got a heck of a deal here. So I get the 30,000 cashier's check. I couldn't believe it. I move, go rent a place just because, I'm excited that I did this deal. And, it's my first big check of easy money, really. It didn't cost me too much. Just the initial backup payments I had to make and the monthly payments, which I think I probably lived there only maybe 4 months or so. And I just made like 40,000. Contract price, let me remember on that one. I think it was like, well, he owed about 230, 240, and I think I listed it at like 340, 350. So if the guy with the lease option that gave me the 30,000 was to actually refinance me out, I was probably going to make an additional 60 to 70,000 on the deal. He didn't though. He ended up staying there for about 2 to 3 years and defaulted as well. He was my first, one of my first evictions I had to do, and it was a tough one because, they were drug addicts, to be honest with you. It was weird, man. They did some weird stuff in that property. Let me tell you, they tore up walls and it was weird. I found frogs inside there, like just loose in the property. I mean, there's so much trash. I got videos of it still on my phone and just trash everywhere. But ended up getting the property back and getting that guy out. But man, it was kind of a nightmare. So, but he's gone, and then I put in another guy. I ended up advertising it again, a lease option, and I think this time I had it listed at maybe 30,000 or 25,000 down payment, and somebody came and we negotiated 20,000 down. So the guy gave me 20,000 down on this one, and he moved in there. His name was Jose. Came from LA. He was a guy that transported stuff for people. So he's like a truck driver, I guess, but he just did it more of a self-employment way. And he ended up refinancing. He was actually one of my first guys to actually refinance and get a loan, and he ended up paying it off. So I did pretty well on that transaction, and he was happy. So that was that one on 5100 Hollis. Quite the transaction, quite the experience on it. Nice property, but it really led the way for me to see what I was going to be doing here in the future. To realize that I can make 30, 40,000 so quickly, it really just sparked something for me. I couldn't believe that, that kind of money was out there, I guess, where people were just going to be able to give me that kind of money. And some bad habits came from it too. So it ignited my poker playing. So I started gambling a lot more, and it just it made life a little different for me. But I still kept buying real estate. I still kept advertising. I put more into it. When you got 30,000 coming so quickly, and you're able to have that kind of income plus additional income that I got from selling houses as a realtor and whatever. I really went gun-ho, and this is where my momentum started happening, and I started buying more real estate. I started advertising and doing more things, and I started picking up a lot more properties. But, you just gotta go with it. That's how it goes. That's life, right? And this is probably 2016, 2017, around that time. So 5100 Hollis, deal number 4.